Okay, attempt number two. Oh, the first part was so good of the live stream, but I was on mute. So, welcome to my channel. Welcome to my live. And this is really an update that does have a connecting theme, even though there's some different topics. And for those of you that know me and follow me, my deep thinkers out there know that I like to get into the layers of thinking and feeling in life. And I mean, I don't think that you would have a career as like a hypnotherapist and a hypnosis trainer and like in the realm of mind and thought and consciousness and subconscious mind and superconscious mind without being a deep thinker. So, welcome to all my deep thinkers and all my followers. And what I'm going to get into today is just share some of the things that I've been seeing and experiencing and some upcoming events that you can check out. But I will let you know that the underlying theme that does connect all these topics like procrastination, self-sabotage, Bitcoin, fear, like all of these topics that I'm just going to quickly address in my live this morning do have a connecting theme. And that connecting theme is that we are all human. And we're humans that are really willing to engage in the discomfort of being human. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes we avoid it, and that's when we get into the topic of self sabotage and procrastination, but it's still a human experience that we're all having, as spirit, as soul here on earth. And we're alive at the same time doing it. And so we do often experience things the same. And that's where I'll start. That we may not experience them the same, like with our thoughts around them or our opinions around them. But I'll give you an example that came out crystal clear from the 3 hour procrastination and self sabotage for yourself and fly workshop that I did last week at the end of the week. Now, this was designed for people to become really clear about what they want, but not just from this heady kind of analytical or should, could, or kind of almost maybe ego of like what you want, but like actually what you truly crave, what you truly desire. And, as we were getting clear, it was becoming also really clear, like the emotions and the triggers and the reactions and the responses and the thinking that gets in the way of being able to take steps towards that desire. And this is where it became really clear about what we all have in common, which again is being human. But what happened in the workshop was that the members realized, like, oh my gosh, we all feel the same on some level. And that similarity, really united them and unites us because, yeah, the things that really matter to us, that our soul and our heart and like just keep presenting to us like we want it, they matter. And because they matter, they bring up strong feelings and they can really bring up strong reactions to like, don't do it. That's dangerous. And that's going to get you into trouble if you put yourself out there like that. And then we did notice that sometimes people had like past experiences that also were like proving to their mind, like, no, that's dangerous to like put yourself out there, say, as a practitioner or hang your shingle or say, like, somehow say, like, I want this because then it feels vulnerable and scary. And then it feels vulnerable and scary. And they were like, let's just go binge watch Netflix and get out of here. Like let's just go. I mean, we can scroll. I said it too. Like million things we can do to distract ourselves. But this is the deal. This is the deal about being a human that wants to live more enriched and fulfilled and in alignment. And that's this piece that we all have in common, which is the discomfort that comes with doing something, taking the steps towards something that you really want. And I've said it here before, and I'll say it again, that is the door to your success. And yeah, it really does require an open mind. It requires an open mind, and it requires a lot of compassion for yourself. And when you've got that compassion for yourself, well, it allows you to have a more open mind because you're not stuck in the rigidity of your thinking that whatever your thinking is. Because the problem is like when we don't have compassion for ourselves, we get stuck in old mindsets, like thinking, I don't have the skills that it takes. I'm not capable. I'm not worthy, or who am I to do this? Or I don't have the courage. I don't have the strength. And it can really create such limited thinking that it might just seem like, well, I'm just limiting myself. But what it actually does is it reinforces your limiting mindset. So then you're also not really open to receive the assistance from the universe to help you get there, or just to present something, like present something for you to see, like for you to have a aha moment, or go, oh, I'll take that opportunity. And that's actually the next step of where I want to go. And I thought it was going to be harder, but then the opportunity presented itself to me. So there, I could talk about that forever, but I'll leave it there to just say it really does, start with self-compassion, because when you have compassion for yourself, you're letting go of rigid thinking that keeps you from having an open mind about what you want to accomplish, and therefore closing doors that might be available to you if you started first with self-compassion. Okay. Next, we could take this right into self-sabotage, because that's the effect of procrastination, but it's actually not the effect of procrastination as much as it is the effect of how you think about procrastination. Because again, if say you're procrastinating on something that really matters to you, then you're probably not being very compassionate to yourself. And you're probably developing a lot of closed minded thinking because of your judgments of yourself of not being able to accomplish this. So that just sets the perfect stage for self sabotage. That sets the perfect stage for self sabotage, because all of a sudden you are not feeling good about yourself. So, how are you going to make choices that feel good? We don't make choices that feel good for ourselves when we feel bad. We make choices that feel good for ourselves when we feel good. So, if you're being mean to yourself, or you're developing these gross, closed, thinking things about yourself because of what you were not able to do yet, and that's going to bleed over into how you make choices for yourself, like what you eat, how you move your body, who you spend time with, what you do, like that we would call self-sabotage. Or maybe you're in something, like you're in a relationship that's really good, and then you just like start a fight, or like, and even that, none of this is for us to judge, but when you're aware of it, you can go, oh, right, because I was already creating closed thinking about myself because of what I wasn't able to do, I have now fallen into a pattern of self-sabotage where I am basically refusing to make good choices for myself and my health and my well-being and my life fulfillment because I think I don't deserve it. So that's what I talk about. That's what the workshop is about, is to break that cycle and to not just understand, but then also use your subconscious and your superconscious mind to create a new open-minded grid, a grid in your mind where you can start to create what you want and live in the thinking and the identity of who you are based on that vision. And talking about vision, what is my next thing? Well, my next thing is talking about, because we did get into the fear, because fear feeds into all of this, right? Because if we want to do something and we feel fear, then that fear often, well, that fear creates a lot of discomfort, and then that fear keeps us from doing things. So I'll leave that at that for now, because that can be a whole another topic. And then the next topic is Bitcoin. Bitcoin, which is also another solution to the discomfort, because a lot of times what happens with awareness, say when we become aware of like the things that we're doing that aren't feeling good, the things that we're doing that aren't working. Like so many people, coming to the workshop, they're like, I want to do this good thing for myself because I know it'll feel good and it'll help me. And there's often the we're looking for solutions, which is part of what's good about the fear and the discomfort, because it's like our systems are telling us like something isn't right, like something needs to change. And then we do tend to kind of put this responsibility on ourselves, like, oh, I've got to change this, when often we do need support or we do need solutions. And this is why I love Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a solution to the discomfort that we inherently feel when we know something isn't working. So think of it like this: when you are, say, you're eating bad and you're not feeling energized, you're feeling tired, lethargic, you got brain fog, and you ultimately know that if you eat better, you'll feel better. So that's like a solution to the discomfort. It's like your body telling you, I need nutrients. And this is Bitcoin for the discomfort that we're feeling living in the financial systems that we are living in, because we inherently know that they're not working. And just like not eating well, our bodies just know that this isn't optimal. Our whole entire beings know that this system of inflation and the cost of everything going up without the value of our own efforts and work and money increasing, is that our systems inherently know that this isn't working. So we're naturally going to seek a solution for the discomfort. And just like eating better to feel better, Bitcoin is investing better to feel better, because it's a real solution to something that no longer works. And this is why Bitcoin is hope. And this is why we can have that same hope that we feel coming out of a cycle of procrastination, because ultimately what's we're being shown in ourselves is that our thinking is not working. How we're approaching something, how we're thinking about something, and the choices that we're making aren't working. But here's the thing: how we think about something and how we approach something lays the foundation for the choices that we make. So a lot of people, they try to start with the choices and they try to make better choices without changing their thinking or their approach. And this probably happens with finances all the time. We try to make better decisions, but it's so limited because the approach, because the approach isn't, it has to change. And in order for the approach to change, the thinking has to change. And that is what's beautiful about our amazing capacity as thinking, feeling human beings. Because all we actually first have to do is change our thinking. And once we change our thinking, then it's very easy to change the approach because once you see something differently, you can't unsee it. And this is what's so awesome. It's just that oftentimes, like I said, we try to change our actions before changing our approach, and we try to change our approach before changing our thinking. And it might seem difficult to change our actions and behaviors, especially if we haven't changed our thinking. And it might seem really impossible to have a new approach because the solution isn't there until we change our thinking. And it might seem like, okay, great, Heather, let's just change our thinking. But this is the work. Because to change our thinking, we have to be open to looking at something in a new way. And if you dig your heels in, like say you believe something so strongly and you dig your heels in to that thing, right? Like you're just like, no, this has been my experience. And this is what I believe to be true because of what I have personally seen. Then you're never going to get here to changing your behavior that you want to change because you'll never be able to change your approach because changing your approach depends completely on first changing your thinking. And changing your thinking offers so much freedom. But again, it requires courage. It requires bravery. It requires you to look within. It requires you to spend time in your mind and listen to the stories that you tell people about why you can't accomplish something or why this will never happen for you or why you're the victim in your life or why you have these obstacles up. And again, this is human. It's okay to um be in this. And that's where there's value in potentially getting assistance. Because if you're stuck in changing your thinking, and no matter what you do, you just can't let go of the hurt or the anger or the resentment or the grief that you've experienced that's very real and needs to be validated in order for you to let it go so that you can change the way you look at life or you look at relationships or you look at money or you look at love or you look at work or you look at health or you look at wealth. And once that is acknowledged and validated, it's easier to come from the victim to the victor or to the victory because we're not just gaslighting your experience. We're just understanding that because of what you've experienced, you've taken on thoughts or an identity or thinking that is stopping you from changing your approach, therefore finding solutions, and therefore just finding yourself doing things differently. So that's that's just such a great topic. And it I love how Bitcoin led into that conversation because Bitcoin is the approach that is a solution that comes out of thinking differently about your financial future and the financial future of the world. And it doesn't require believing anything. Simply requires a willingness to consider that something could work better than what's not working. Right? It's like eating better. It's really simple because even if the mind, like a lot of people, well, now more nowadays, like, but I remember even in the early 2000s when I was really into healing with whole foods, 11 11 11 11. When I was really into healing with whole foods, like people would be mad at me, like people would be like angry at me for even considering that you could like heal your body with food. And now I feel like that is like way more well known. But consider this, right? That's how people feel about Bitcoin. Like, oh, that's nonsense. And consider this, like for me to be able to heal myself with food, I first had to change my thinking about how the body heals and what the body needs to heal. And I had to go outside of what everyone else was saying. And it's always required of us. It doesn't mean that we always have to go against the grain. I mean, so many people have healed themselves with food now. It's really known. But I mean, I've still had consults and clients where like they see it happening, but their own thinking hasn't totally shifted enough to buy in enough to try. Because this isn't about this will work for you, so do this. This is about opening up your thinking to consider the possibility that this could be a solution. And just like, changing the way that you eat to heal your body or to specifically heal specific conditions is the same as anything that you want to change your approach, but really anything that you want to feel better about. So once you can, so the real work is in changing your thinking, because it's not just like writing down an affirmation and then saying it to yourself every day, especially if that affirmation is not curated to be accepted by the subconscious mind. It's really more about paying attention to your thoughts and what you're saying and the way that you potentially unwillingly unconsciously set up roadblocks for your potential success. Because a lot of times when we think of all the things that we have to do to, like, say, lose weight or change the world, make the world a better place, or whatever it is, feel better, we often create a lot of obstacles because we haven't first changed our thinking. So I'm going to leave it at that. Change your thinking, change your life. But also understanding that changing your thinking isn't like having to believe something that somebody else believes. Changing your thinking is being open-minded enough to consider that there is more. There is more to life. There's more to experience. And there's definitely more solutions and options for a better world and a better future in that willingness to be open to what life will present for you to grow, to evolve. And growing and evolving is like nurturing a part of you that's just craving life, that's craving aliveness, that's craving connection, that's craving like a relationship with yourself that feels so juicy and beautiful, and then starts to give you these synchronicities and these people and these moments and these solutions like Bitcoin for your life. So that's all I'm going to say about that. This has been great. I knew I had so much to share. I hope to be back here real soon. If you're still here listening, thank you. If you've got any thoughts or questions, drop them in. Give your girl a like if you've enjoyed anything that I've had to say. And I'll see you soon. Ciao for now.